जयति पराशर सूनुः सत्यवती हृदय नंदनो व्यासः यस्य आस्य कमलकलितं वाङ्मयममृतं जगत्पिबति व्यासाय भवनाशाय श्रीशाय गुणराशये हृद्याय शुद्धविद्याय मध्वाय च नमो नमः। नारायणं सुरगुरुं जगदेकनाथं भक्तप्रियं सकललोकनमस्कृतं च त्रैगुण्यवर्जितमजं विभुमाद्यमीशं वन्दे भवग्नम् अमरासुरसिद्धवन्द्यं। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। My dear friends, we had all the preparations to the entry of Bhagavad Gita except Dhyana Shloka, which is the center, or Dhyana has to be done from the heart, because heart is called as the center part of our body. Dhyana, while touching the heart, we have to do, or our concentration, definitely we have to converge all those concentration into the heart, because that is the seat for Lord, or that is the preparation for whatever the study we are going to do. Earlier we saw all those things, Anganyasa, Karamnyasa, everything, and even glory of Bhagavad Gita. Before that, I would like to tell you some 3 points where we have to concentrate there. In Bhagavad Gita, before starting, in the preparation itself, it says Bija, Shakti, Kilaka. These are the 3 things. What is the Bija? What is Shakti? And what is Kilaka? To say this, they say 3 verses or 3 sentences from Bhagavad Gita only. Ashochyanam shochastvam pragnavadamscha bhashase iti bijam, they say. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja iti shaktihi. Aham tva sarvapapebhyo mokshanishyami ma shuchaha iti kilakam, they say. What do you mean by this? They make us, or they prepare the humans to enter into the auspicious Bhagavad Gita there. What is Bija, Shakti and Kilaka? They say, Ashochyanam shochastvam pragnavadamscha bhashase iti Kilakam, they say. So what is the duty of the human being there? We just break our head for things which we are not supposed to do that. Ashochyanam shochastvam pragnavadamscha bhashase. That means one should have consciousness. So when you speak or when you interact with anyone, so your consciousness, that is prajna, prakarshena jnana, that is called as prajna. Pragnavadamscha bhashase. Whenever you speak, speak sensibly, with full consciousness. That must be there. There are many people who talk. Simply when they open their mouth, they won't close only. So that should not happen. With conscious, we have to speak. Pragnavadamscha bhashase. That is the bija. That is the bija mantra of Bhagavad Gita. Bija mantra of Bhagavad Gita is Ashochyanam shochastvam. Further, Lord Krishna gives this advice to Arjuna there. Ashochyanam shochastvam pragnavadamscha bhashase. Because Arjuna says, I am unable to fight here. I have to run away from the battle. Because I am seeing all my kith and kin in front of me. How can I fight with my own people? How can I kill them? When he gives all this clarification there, doubts, then Krishna says, Ashochyanam shochastvam pragnavadamscha bhashase. Speak sensibly there. Don't lose your consciousness and speak. Prajna, that prakarshena jnana, that is, or prakrishta jnana. See, we can divide this word prajna in 2 ways. Prakarshena jnana, elevated consciousness there, and prakrishta jnana. What is prakrishta? Prakrishta means Bhagavanta jnana. Bhagavan, the knowledge of Lord, or the knowledge of Supreme. When that is there with us, that is also called as prajna. Prakrishta jnana and prakarshena jnana. So pragnavadamscha bhashase, he says. So that is Don't lose your consciousness when you speak. So we have to follow this basic rule. That is the bija of Bhagavad Gita. Then he says, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja iti Shakti. That is the power of Bhagavad Gita there. So, what is the main power of Bhagavad Gita? Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. We need to understand this line in a different way. Because what it says, the meaning, that is not just the meaning, superficial meaning. We have to enter into the depth of that sentence there. Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. That is the statement of Lord. Lord Krishna says, leave everything, surrender unto me. Surrendering unto Lord, it is not easy. Definitely it is not easy. We say through orally, yes, I am surrendered to you, but internally we have that ego in us that will not allow us to surrender completely there. So we are all completely bound with our own ego. That ego must go. So that's why Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, we can't implement 100% there. When it becomes 100% implementation, then that becomes the power within yourself. That's why it is called as Shakti. Then after that, Ahantva Sarvapapebhyo. When you do that, Ahantva Sarvapapebhyo Mokshayishyami Mashuchaha. That is Kilakam. That is the liberation. When you do like that, 100% surrenderance, then I will take care of you. Ahantva Sarvapapebhyo Mokshayishyami. Then I will liberate you. This can be told only by the Lord. Not anyone can speak like this. So the statement Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja Ahantva Sarvapapebhyo Mokshayishyami Mashuchaha iti Kilakam, that says. Kilakam means that is key to success. Key to complete transformation or complete tarana. Tarana means that is samsara, bhava samsara tarana. That can happen. That is the key. So when we surrender to God completely, then all responsibilities is lying on God only. Because when you have that consciousness that I am not the doer, many times I repeat this. Naham karta, hari karta. Tat puja sarvachakiram. Whatever I do, it is not me I am doing. You, in me, you are inspiring me to do. Naham karta, hari karta, tat puja sarvachakilam, tathapi matkrita puja, tvat prasadena nanyata. Even if I do something, so that is just your prasada. Tvat prasadena na anyatha. So with this preparation, that is Bija, Shakti and Kilaka, and all those Anganyasa, Karanyasa, and glory of Bhagavad Gita, what we got. So we have to do manana. Whatever we discuss here, it should not go from this year and it should leave from this year. So that manana, Shravana we are doing now. We are all like Arjuna. Arjuna represents these three values. Human values are represented by those Pancha Pandavas, Draupadi and Krishna. This is the most important essence. The 7 characters in Mahabharata, they represent the human values. Human values, they are represented. So Arjuna represents specially Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasa. Arjuna represents these 3 human values. So we are all like Arjuna. So that means we need to contemplate on these 3 values of human life. That is Shravana, listening. That we are doing now. Everybody does. So everybody's physical presence is here. But how many of them are mentally present, that we only know. We cannot concentrate 100%. Sometimes our mind wanders here and there. It goes to America, Australia, everywhere. We are not here. Physically we are here. But 100% mental concentration here. That only can make us hear completely. Shravana, that human value, can be completely absorbed only with our physical and mental presence. Manana, that means after Shravana, immediately Manana has to happen. Whatever we hear, we have to contemplate on that. Manana. Without Manana, students, the quality of a student is a perfect Manana. Whenever you read any topic or any subject, whether it is material or spiritual. First you will read by opening the books. When you close the books and close your eyes, all those sentences in the pages which should enter into your mind, or it should reflect in your mind. Then your study is complete there. Don't just open the book and read always. Try to read whatever is there in the open book with the closed book and closed eyes. If you are able to recollect all those things, that is a perfect manana. When you do that manana, and if you are able to recollect everything, whatever is there in that page, then it will never get erased in your mind. Please take it from me, this is the key to success. So this is what Krishna says to Arjuna. Shravana, Manana and Nididhyasana. Nididhyasana, that is continuous contemplation on that Manana, will take us to the stage of Nididhyasana. So these three values, and all other 5 people plus 2, that is Panchamandavas, Draupadi and Krishna, they represent human values. I am going to talk about that in future whenever it comes to the topic. But with these preparation, we have to enter into Dhyana Shloka there. With all this preparation. What is the Dhyana Shloka? Lakshmi Kantam, Shantakaram, Bhujagashenam. So let us contemplate on this shloka first. 2 shlokas are there, as I told you. Shantakaram, Bhujagashenam, Padmanabham, Suresham, Lakshmi Kantam, Kamalanayanam, Yogivir Dhyanagamyam, Vande Vishnum, Bhavavayaharam, Sarvalokaikanatham. Shantakaram, Bhujagashenam, Padmanabham, Suresham, Vishwadharam, Gaganasadrisham, Megavaranam, Shubhangam, Lakshmi Kantam, Kamalanayanam, Yogivir Dhyanagamyam, Vande Vishnum, Bhavavayaharam, Sarvalokaikanatham. What is the meaning of this shloka? This is Dhyana Shloka. See, here there are gunas or the attributes of Lord which is being explained here. Shantakaram, that is one. Bhujagashayanam, Padmanabham, Suresham, Vishwadharam, Gaganasadrisham, Meghavarnam, Shubhangam, Lakshmi Kantam, Kamalanayanam. These are the things. Only 10. So there is a reason why only 10 attributes of Lord is explained in this book. Why not 11? Why not 9 or 8? Or why not 12 or 13? There is a reason for this. Only 10 attributes of Lord. Kamalanayanam, there retains 10 gunas of Lord. Yogivir Dhyanagamyam, that is a statement. Yogivir Dhyanagamyam. When a yogi contemplates all these 10 attributes of Lord in his trance, that is Dhyanagamyam. In his Dhyanavastha, when he contemplates on all these 10 gunas, to those Lord, to that Lord with all these 10 gunas, Vande Vishnum Bhavavayaharam. I bow my head to that Lord. Sarvalokaikanatham. So what are those 10 gunas? That we are going to contemplate on that or discuss on that. Why 10 only means 10 represents the word or the number. 10 represent complete. 10 means it is not 10. So in Samskrita, in Sanskrit language, Shatam, Dasha, Sahasrancha, Sarvam, Akshaya Vachakam. If you say 10, if you say 100, if you say 1000, that means it is complete. It is asankhya. It is innumerable, infinite. 10 means it is infinite. You cannot restrict the attributes of God in numbers. You cannot say that he is having only 10 gunas. If you say 10, that means it is infinite. Shatam, Dasha, Sahasrancha, Sarvam, Akshaya Vachakam. They say this. That's why there are only 10 attributes here in this Dhyana Shloka. Shantakaram, Bhujagashenam, Padmanabham, Suresham, Vishwadharam, Gaganasadrisham, Meghavarnam, Shubhangam, Lakshmi Kantam, Kamalanayanam. Yogivir Dhyanagamyam. So all these 10 gunas must be contemplated by a yogi. When he contemplates all these 10 gunas, then only he can be perfect to discuss the entry of Bhagavad Gita there. He can enter into Bhagavad Gita. First one, Shantakaram. Shantakaram means what? He is a abode of peace. His akara is Shanta. Shantakaram. That means that Shanta, the word, or Shanti, what we say, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So if you ask anyone, they will say, what is the meaning of this? It is peace, peace, peace. You must ask spelling first. What is that? It is not P-I-E-C-E. It gets into pieces. If you say everything piece, piece, piece means it goes into pieces. All our piece is going to become pieces. So that is P-E-A-C-E or P-I-E-C-E. That we should know. But here in Samskrita, the word Shanta means, it is a beautiful meaning. Shanti, the word Shanti means, Sha means Ananda. Sha means bliss in Samskrita. Sham, that's why Shanno Mitrasham Varuna. Sham means bliss in Samskrita. Then Anta, Anta means it is the peak. E, the word E is there. Shanta here, but the word Shanti is there. E means that is Jnana, knowledge. So where knowledge and bliss, it is in peak state, that is called as Shanti. That is the meaning of this Shanta or Shanti. It is not just peace, P-E-A-C. It is the peak of knowledge and bliss. We are not definitely peak of knowledge and bliss because we lack in that peace. That is bliss. We lack in that place and we lack in knowledge also. We cannot become Shanta there. So who is the Shantakaram? Who is the personification of this knowledge and bliss? That is Shantakaram. This is the meaning of Shantakaram. So beautiful this is. We should contemplate Shantakaram means you should get in your mind that that is the Lord who is in ultimate or who is in the peak of knowledge and bliss. That is called as Shanta. Shanti. The word E means in gatau. That is the root word there. In gatau. Gati means knowledge. Gati means to move. What to move? To move is to know. To move is to know. But what we say? Did you understand? We say. Not understanding. We have to move. We cannot stand at one place. But we ask, did you understand? Then everybody will say yes. But we should not stand there. If you stand, then you are gone. Your knowledge or your growth will become stagnant there. That's why Gati means to move. That's why whenever you move from one place to another place, you will get so much of experience. So that's why people, yogis or sannyasis, they are called as Parivrajaka. What do you mean by Parivrajaka? Parivrajaka means they cannot stay at one place. If they stay at one place, they will definitely get attached to one or the other material things there. That attachment will become moha. That moha will become sammoha. Sammoha will become smriti vibhrama. Smriti vibhrama will become buddhinasha. So this is the main important message there. So one should not stay, a yogi must not stay in one place. He has to go from one place to another place in search of experience and knowledge. Your knowledge will grow, or every time when you leave one place to another place, so you get more experience there. So that's why E means Indagato. That Shanta means one who is personification of knowledge and bliss. He is only Shanta. That Akara, that's why he is called as Shantakaram. Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam. Bhujagashayanam means, Bhujaga means serpent. Bhujagashayanam, one who has made his bed. Serpent has his bed. He is called as Bhujagashayanam. We can see all those in pictures. Bhujagashayanam, Kshirabdishai, we say, in the ocean of milk. So Kshirabdishai, so there, he sleeps on the bed of serpent. That is Sankarshana, Shesha, we call it as. Sheshashayi. Sheshashayi is the adjective for Vishnu. He is called as Sheshashayi. So the same word is here, Bhujagashayana. Bhujagashayana means a person who sleeps on. He doesn't sleep. If he sleeps, permanently he sleeps. It is just, he is just acting like he is sleeping, that's all. He is always awake. It is we who sleep and get up early in the morning. When we sleep, why we sleep? Do we sleep? What is the hope that we are going to get up early in the morning? That is the real hope of our life. Everybody is supposed to sleep, thinking that definitely they will get up next morning. But sometimes what happens, we sleep and we don't get up only. That is the most best death what we get. That is the most desired death there. But unfortunately we don't get that type of death. We suffer in hospital with a lot of pain, and finally we We are not ready to leave this body. With so much of difficulty we leave this body. That is painful. I have told you. Ekottaram mrityu shatam bruvate vedavadinah. This is Ayurveda which says there are 101 types of that. Out of that, 100 are unnatural. Only one is natural death. That natural death is when you sleep in. So in the sleep, the death what you get, that is the 100% natural death. They are very, very fortunate to get this type of death. So, Bhujaka Shayana means there is one adjective for God. Shantakaram Bhujaka Shayana. Padmanabham. So, Padmanabha means a person in the navel who has got Padma, lotus. Padmanabhi. Padmanabha means in the navel of Lord Vishnu, the Kamala, which comes in that Chaturmukha Brahma who comes. So, he is called as Padmanabha. One who is having Padma in his navel region, he is called as Padmanabha. So like this we need to contemplate. So we have seen only 3 words, Shantakaram, Bhujaka Shayanam, Padmanabha. So with all those 7 words, how can we contemplate on Lord's attributes, that we can discuss in next opportunity. Till then, Hari Om.